Good evening. Notice was given of this regular meeting of the Mayor and Board of all the persons this Thursday, April 9th, 2020 at 6 p.m. in the courtroom at City Hall. We are having our call to order. This is our call to order. We're going to ask for a moment of silence. We know, Robert, as you were saying, this coronavirus has taken the life of one of our citizens last evening, and we want to have a moment of silence for that individual, and out of respect for her and her life and her family and friends. Then we're going to have an invocation. Councilman Shaw, we're asking you to lead us in prayer. And we're going to ask Councilman Prater, Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman Prater, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to stand and face the flag, and then we'll have a roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's have a moment of silence. Our Heavenly Father, we do come to you tonight, Lord, with saddened hearts that we've lost one of our dear citizens. Lord, we just pray that you be with that family and help them as they cope with this. Lord, we just thank you for all that's been done to eradicate this. It's just a serious problem, and it's going to take a lot of help, but we know you can supply that help. COVID-19 is the one that we're trying to get rid of. We're going to pray, Lord, that you'd help us eradicate that. And Lord, we just pray for the city, we pray for the citizens, pray for the state and the whole United States and throughout the world. This is just really a serious thing. But we know you can take care of us in this time of need. And we give you honor and praise and bless our meeting tonight as we conduct here. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Goldman, roll call, please.
Ms. Moore. Here. Mr. Prater.
Here.
Mr. Shaw.
Here.
Mayor. Absent is Mr. Locke and Mr. Green.
Do we have a quorum? Thank you, Ms. Goldman. We do have a quorum. This meeting is now in session. Announcements, of course, Robert, you talked about the COVID-19. I noticed, I went out to Walmart just before this meeting, and they're doing a great job with the baskets. You have to get a basket to go in. They sanitize them, and each basket has a number. They got 110 baskets. And I went into the store just to get the experience, and I happened to see toilet tissue. Yes, Angel Soap.
What store is that? Angel Soap.
Yes,
What
at
store is that?
Walmart. It's a very, very valuable commodity.
What time of day was that?
A while ago.
Oh, what?
Yeah, right. So there's some right now if you go. But then when you come out, you know that buggy is available for someone else. However, I'm a
Super One done it too. I think
yes, Super One. Our fire department went to all of the open stores, and we set limits. We set new limits on how many people can be in a building, because Walmart can hold several hundred, its capacity. But
110, is that what you said?
well, 110 baskets, 2 people per basket max.
That can be the maximum.
Yes, sir. And we're satisfied with that. However, I went to another store, and no one in there had a mask on except myself. And people were close in each other's face. And that is really alarming, that so many people don't take this seriously. And there are some towns who you'll get a $1,000 fine if you're not wearing a mask. And I want to talk to the council and get your feelings. You're a nurse, Miss Moore. What's your feelings on wearing masks?
I believe it's essential and needed,
Okay,
especially with the increased numbers of the COVID-19 that we've had.
Can we get some? Can we
oh, mask?
mask? I mean,
Yeah.
we can make sure all our employees got it, or we got one, you know?
Well,
We all working on that.
yes,
Okay.
we called the state early for supplies, and they have a supply number that you call, and I was told, this is when New Orleans was blowing up, that we didn't have a chance at getting things.
Yeah, because right now it's been difficult for the medical field.
That's right. That those were going to the medical field, and that even our police and fire, because I tried to get them for Chief Campbell and Chief Crowder, and we could not get the N95 mask. And it's hard to get any kind of mask now.
Yeah.
So I just want the council to be thinking about that. I'm open to your recommendation if we need to start, because it's here. There's so many false things on Facebook and other media that's coming from other countries that people are buying into, that there's no danger. And, you hear this 5G stuff and all these other things that are distracting and just causing a lot of anguish. So I want you all to think and give me your recommendations on whether we should impose. I got the chief of police there to, Chief, would you research that for us and see what kind of penalty we could put on people not covering up if this gets any?
They wear a mask.
Yes, sir.
I'll look into it.
Yes, sir, thank you.
And, I know right now there's a shortage on masks, but some covering on
Some
your face is better than nothing.
Yes, ma'am. And,
That's what we
Yeah,
did. We
yeah.
divided.
So something is better than nothing.
yeah, and there are all types of YouTube videos that show you how to make a mask with rubber bands and
I've seen them
and-
make a mask with a shirt,
Mhm.
a head covering, and it covers the
Yes.
face and
Because
period.
the mask keeps me from infecting you if I'm wearing a mask. It doesn't so much protect me as it protects the other person. And no one has a right to cause harm to another person.
So something is better than nothing.
Yes. So we encourage it. If we see enough of it, then there will be no need for action. But if we don't see it, then if people don't take it seriously, then, because so many people are asymptomatic.
That's what people don't realize. This
Yeah.
virus lays in your body for 14 days before you have any symptoms. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
think you're healthy, and you're actually not.
And you can pass it on
You
in
can
that
pass it on
period.
during that 14 days.
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
And be asymptomatic.
okay,
So that's the scary part.
okay.
And with this curfew, that mean they stop all work after 9 o'clock?
No, sir, it doesn't affect people working.
No.
Oh,
My
chief.
neighbor across the street was working last night after 10 o'clock, working on cars. I know that's not essential. He done started back over there.
He's within his residence,
Mm-hmm.
so, he's not out on the street.
Oh, he's on the street testing those cars. Yes, he is.
I'll get some more. But if he's in his driveway working on a vehicle, then he's within his own curtilage of his
No,
own
I can
private
understand.
property.
His vehicle, I can understand. When they work on all them other vehicles, I don't understand that. And he going down the road, trying them out. 10:30 last night.
Probably call when he does it, and I'll see to it that, it is taken care of.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. The curfew tends to be working. Chief, I asked Chief if he had enough tickets. I want to make sure he has enough books of tickets because this is very serious and we're going to enforce the curfew, the 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. for juveniles and 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. for people. Now, people can get a letter from their employer, if someone's going to work for an 11 o'clock shift somewhere, then they need a letter from their employer and they need a contact that the police can call a person or call a business. Mr. Pierre's over here and he can give us more information on that.
I got a son that works on the farm up in Maroon. He come through going to Monroe.
Yeah.
What is
Farm
it?
labor is essential.
Okay.
But yeah, I would recommend that if he wants to be compliant, that if that farmer that he is employed by wants to submit a letter for him to keep on his person,
He works for himself.
then that's even better. He can have himself some kind of documentation.
Another announcement is that if you go down Martin Luther King to the Martin Luther King Street Bridge, you'll see construction. The contractor has started moving the sewer over. That's, you all accepted a bid from, was that Mitchell Construction? For,
That's it, huh?
yes, for $147,000, I believe we're spending. And they are physically moving the sewer line from the vicinity of the bridge over out of the way for the new bridge. So that's what's going on on the north end of Martin Luther King, and that's encouraging. The next thing we're going to do is, of course, they're going to let the project out for bids. The state, I believe we met everything. Is that correct, Ms. Goldman? We met all of the state's requirements to actually build the bridge. The Corps of Engineers is coming, if they haven't already done it, to look for the activity of the long-eared bat. There's an endangered species of bat that could theoretically hold us up for a few months, but I hope that those bats are not active right now. And if they're not active, then we should have a green light and see some actual construction going on within the next very short period of time.
I have one question
Yes,
about
ma'am.
the curfew. If someone gets stopped and they get a citation, the penalties, what are we looking at?
That's a good
First one-
question, Mr. Pierre. Penalties for citations?
$500.
$500.
Up to 6 months and up to $500, correct? Oh,
It's a misdemeanor offense, and the maximum penalty for a misdemeanor offense, saved and accepted DWI, is $500 fine, and up to 6 months in jail.
okay,
That's the standard penalty of all misdemeanors.
okay, thank you, Mr. Pierre. But we will ticket. We will ticket. I'm hoping that no one gets a ticket. I'm hoping that no one gets a ticket, but we're very serious about this curfew, and if people want tickets, they're going to get them, because we have to do what we have to do. We have to keep people safe and keep people off the streets.
Now, is the police jury thinking about making this parish-wide?
I don't think they will unless there's a problem in the parish. If there's a problem in the parish, then I believe that they will probably. But we didn't want to take a chance. This is the hottest time for this virus. If you go to healthdata.org, there's an interactive graph that you can click and drag a line, and you'll see that curve going up, the death curve going up like this. And they're projecting the 14th or 15th of April as being the peak, and then the downside. And it gives you the actual numbers. So there'll be this envelope in the track of what they think is going to be somewhere in the middle. But the death toll could be from the 40,000 level up to the 200,000 level roughly. And that changes every day. The model changes every day. And we enacted the curfew after consulting with Chief Campbell to try to time it so that we didn't want to do it too early, because people would get cabin fever a lot early, and by now they'd be worn out. So we tried to wait until, and we watched that trend every day, several times a day, to see if it changed. And we even did our own little regression to try to predict the number that we would have based upon the numbers that we were getting here. And I believe we're up to 20, 23 now?
That was
I
yesterday.
didn't look at it yet.
That was yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, and we've had one death last night. And this is real. And what I worry about is, and the one reason for the curfew is that if we let kids go out, kids are going to congregate. And what are they going to do when they congregate? Let me just kill that. Ms. Moore, you know this better than we do. There are people with bags of pills, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 medications. You've seen that, haven't you?
More than that.
Well, what's going to happen, or what's happening is these kids go out. They're staying with grandma in grandma's house. They're going to go out and congregate because they don't feel anything. They feel, like they're going to live forever and bulletproof. But then they come in contact with someone who's positive, and then they're going to come back and breathe on grandma. And grandma is not going to make it. And we're going to have some funerals unless behavior's changed. And these same kids who take it back to grandma or back to aunt or back to Uncle Joe, who's my age or older, and maybe high blood pressure, diabetes, or whatever the situation is that makes you, that makes you more vulnerable and gives you less chance of surviving. That's my biggest fear, is that the kids are going to kill their relatives, their older relatives. And these older relatives need to put their foot down. They need to put their foot down. I have a brother-in-law who doesn't let anybody in his house. And he's very vigilant. The grandkids come, and he looks at them through the window, through the patio door, and they talk through the door. And I'll see you later. His niece came in yesterday thinking she was going to come and spend the night. Say, no, go back where you came from. Wherever you were, go back. That's the kind of vigilance that we're going to have. Because right now our per capita numbers, one death in a town the size of Bastrop, 10,000, per capita per 100,000 is 10. So if we end up with 23, that's like 230 as far as counts, which makes us, it's bad. We don't need funerals in this town. That's unnecessary. And almost every funeral that we're going to see will probably be an unnecessary funeral. Someone didn't protect themselves. Someone didn't respect their space. And I went to a store to have something, to get something today. And I told the person there was a pretty good crowd. They weren't over their limit. They had 10. But no one in there was wearing a mask, not a soul. And I left my order there and said, hey, can you pull this for me? They're a great store here. And they did. But people came up to hug me, and I am a hugger. But I'm not a hugger now. So people need to take this dead serious, because it's you see, and Mr. Prater, you're in the healthcare industry. You understand what this means.
Oh, yeah, no doubt now.
And I'm gonna tell you the scary thing. I know you said they're killing the older adults, but they're killing younger adults with underlying conditions like hypertension, diabetes, asthma. So
Okay.
it doesn't have to be old.
Okay.
It can be younger with those underlying conditions.
Well, it's alarming, and that's why I'm really considering, and I wouldn't do this without you all's.
Well, I went in the store today, and the workers that work 8-10 hours shifts didn't have on masks.
Did not have them on.
No.
Okay.
What was it?
At a store I went in today, 2 workers.
And we'd
died.
like public comment on this also, because it's scary to see how callous and lackadaisical people are. It's amazing. It covers the news, it dominates the news, and we go into places and people are all on top of each other. I mean, voluntarily, in your face, this close, there were two men talking this close about
Probably nothing.
stuff, yeah. You know, just chit chat.
It's just we need to communicate it where people understand.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Public comments as they relate to items on the agenda, we have an email that we published to send, or a number to call, 283-0250 by 3 o'clock. That's what's published in our legal journal. But I don't think we had any public comments as relating to items on the agenda. So item number 5, approve previous minutes.
Mayor, I move that we approve the previous minutes for March the 12th and March the 20th.
Okay?
A second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Shaw, second by Council Lady Moore, that we approve that we adopt these minutes. Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes have been approved. Finance Committee report, Resolution 20-1899, bills and claims for the month of March 2020. Councilman Shaw?
Yes, well, we have reviewed this report as we did earlier, and I would like to offer up a request that we approve the finance report as we previously had looked at.
Okay.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Shaw, second by Mayor Pro Tem Councilman Prater, that we adopt this resolution. Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, the resolution is adopted. Resolution 20-1891, a resolution amending and supplementing Resolution 20-18.
Oh, Mayor, skip
Number
one.
7.
Oh, I'm sorry. Item 8, I'm sorry. Item 8 is Resolution 20-1890. A resolution of the mayor and alderpersons of the city of Bastrop in opposition to all legislation to remove the authority of the local governments to administer and collect local sales tax. Ms. Goldman?
Mayor, it's coming before the legislature to try to get the state of Louisiana to collect all sales tax in Baton Rouge. Every year, they try to pass this. LMA has asked us to take action on this because we feel like the locals do better at collecting the sales tax. Because we drive these streets, we see the businesses when they're open and when they close. If Baton Rouge do it, they're not coming here and running our streets. And if they collect it, we're gonna have, probably another month added before we get our money. So the state will hold it a month before we get it. So we ask that y'all, consider passing this so we can get this to the LMA.
Okay, did everyone get that? Yeah, and Ms. Goldman and I had a pretty long discussion this week about that, and she gave me some examples. Say if we have someone coming in town just to open up on a parking lot, then they could be gone, without paying taxes, or if things are not going well, they may leave without us knowing if the state handles. And another thing that we noticed that cities, Ruston announced this past week as an example, that they may have to furlough employees.
They did furlough
How many did they furlough,
all the part-timers, and it's right small, I think right at 300 people.
Well, they're in a little different situation than we are because they've got Louisiana Tech University there, 7,000 students or so? And then Gramblin's right next door with 4,000 or 5,000 students. And that's a lot of sales tax revenue that they depend on. We're not quite as vulnerable for a percentage, but because if you take the college students out of Lincoln Parish, you drop 10,000, 12,000 people. But still, we're concerned, so I met with Ms. Goldman just so the council will know. And the last thing I want to do is furlough employees, okay? But we are watching, we went over the sales tax numbers, and I asked Ms. Goldman, how did they compare with last year, right, Ms. Goldman?
Yes, sir.
And this is another thing that reinforces us opposing this in Baton Rouge with our legislative delegation to ask them not to vote in favor of this, is because when they report from the 20th of March to the 20th of April, they take those sales, the last 10 days in the last month, the first 20, and they turn them in to the Sales Tax Commission. Is that correct, Ms. Goldman?
That is correct.
And by the 30th, we can tell what those collections are. Is that correct, Ms. Goldman?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then we can make instant decisions without, having too many employees that we may not be able to pay. We can make these decisions monthly based upon the instantaneous revenue. And it's not our desire to furlough anyone, but we do have a plan in place. I've asked department heads to think about it and to even talk to employees. In Public Works, they've talked to employees. Of course, we're not going to furlough any policemen. We're not going to furlough any firemen. Police and fire, we've got to have public safety, but the grass may grow a little taller. Not as much litter might be picked up if we have we're going to prioritize, but we're going to work our way through this crisis. But that's just another example of why we should have the Sales Tax Commission collecting right here, so we can have those instant numbers.
Send it down south and you will never see it.
Oh, no, you know, I know that.
Well,
Yes, sir.
in light of that, Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve this,
Authorization.
resolution 20-1890.
Okay. It's been moved by Councilman Shaw, second by Councilman Prater, that we adopt this resolution. Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. We will get that right away, right, Ms. Goldman?
I mean, one question, Mayor.
Yes.
Is the police bureau, in this, too?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, they have one representative on the board, and all of the board is gonna go to their agency and get this done.
Okay,
and send it.
okay.
Yeah, and Ms. Goldman is our representative on that board.
Well, the way the stuff's been leaving the shelves, I believe we ought to have a good sales tax.
You're right.
Yeah, and that was one discussion that Ms. Goldman and I had at depth this past week, is that we got the advantage. We don't have, college campuses. Something, Mr. Pierre? I thought you were trying to get, okay, I'm sorry. We don't have the big college campuses, so one advantage of being here is that, when the recessions come, Bastrop doesn't dip as low, and of course, when good times come, we don't go as high. And we've got Walmart, Super One, and Bastrop Foods and those, and they've turned a lot of, I would imagine, record sales. We've got another, quality store, Simmons Sporting Goods, that brings dollars in from elsewhere. And I was passing by yesterday, Simmons, and they said, ammunition arriving daily. They've been selling out of ammo, and, guns are selling. People are, ready to protect themselves. In big numbers. And we are benefiting from those sales because people are coming from not Bastrop dollars, but they're coming from all around to shop at our high quality, complete sporting goods store.
And by the way, they've added on the warehouse. So that's
Yeah.
plus, that's ad valorem tax.
Yes, sir. And they're planning to do another addition to prepare for Bussy break when Bussy opens. Because Bussy used to be, once upon a time in the late 60s, 68, 69, I guess it was. Bussy was the premier bass fishing spot, I believe, in the state. Chief, are you a bass fisherman? Okay. Yes. but the wildlife and fisheries, it's gonna take probably another year or so, year and a half for that to really get hot. But that's gonna do a lot to bring a lot of people to Bastrop, and we hope that they buy from this new addition that Simmons is probably gonna add. I'm just guessing, I haven't gotten confirmation of that. Okay, next item on the agenda, item 9, resolution 20-1891, a resolution amending and supplementing resolution 20-1888, recognizing and adopting by reference Governor John Bell Edwards' proclamation regarding COVID-19 and authorizing the city of Bastrop through its mayor to establish compliance thereto, and in addition to the same, authorizing the mayor to prudently take necessary action during the period of the emergency, so declare, and further to authorize the mayor to declare a state of emergency in the city of Bastrop. Mr. Pierre, we said a lot there. That's your language. Can you come up closer so people can hear you? And explain to us what this is. Now, we have 9 here before us. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, Mayor.
I was looking for the sheet that this refers to. Which, is it 9?
Yeah.
Okay, Counselor.
Here it comes.
Resolution 1891, you ain't got that?
Now, we adopt a resolution.
So there's only one difference in this resolution and the one from the last meeting that we had. And that difference is the authorization of the mayor to declare a state of emergency for the city of Bastrop. Everything else is the same as the previous one. We just amended that resolution 1890, 21890, I think it's the correct number, to add in that additional language to authorize the mayor to declare a state of emergency for the city of Bastrop.
And one reason for this was that we have, as the legislation is coming out of Washington, Ms. Goldman is monitoring, and her staff, they're monitoring that legislation, and she's looking at what we can pay as COVID. And there are some examples that I'm not going to bring Ms. Goldman up to extend the meeting, of course. I get accused of that a lot because I want full disclosure and full, openness for the public to understand what we do and why we do it. But did we, Counselor, thank you so much. I was just thanking you for breaking that down.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 20-1891.
It's been moved by Council Lady Moore, second by Mayor Pro Tem Councilman Prater, that we adopt this resolution. All right. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. And this resolution is adopted. And I believe that's it. Item 10, adjourn.
Make a motion.
Okay, it's been moved that we adjourn by Councilwoman Moore, second by Mayor Pro Tem Councilman Prater, that we adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor? Meeting's adjourned.